Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and master your money. My name is Erica Lewis, and I am your host today, filling in for the incomparable Lala, who is not available. But thank you so much for having me. Today, we are going to pick up where we left off yesterday, talking about the untimely death of whose name may, ring a bell or two. His untimely death, assassination, a couple of days ago. And we are going to be talking about the HBCU threats and extremist violence and what Black communities need to know. Now, today I have an amazing set of panelists that are here with me. We have the one and only Minister Connie. Where you at, girl? Hey, Minister Connie, how you doing today? All right, and then we have my girl with the smile, with the energy, with the passion. We got Yolanda Spivey. How are you? And we have the one and only attorney, Mary Dean. How you doing today, Miss Mary? Get clock tea, girl, clock tea. Well, the ladies are here. I am here. I'm your host again, Erica Lewis, and I am the author of Faith in Transition. And let's get this conversation started. Now, we want to stick to facts today. Now, facts and feelings, this is my one thing to say. Facts and feelings, the only thing they have in common is the letter F. Okay, your feelings will not change facts, but facts can change feelings. So it's all about perspective and how you view things. And what I want to do is I want to start with you, Minister Connie. I'm going to start with the woman of the cloth and get your perspective on our HBCUs and the danger that they've been in. There was mostly all HBCUs received death threats, bomb threats, and campuses were shut. What is your viewpoint on that?
I think it's so terrible that we're minding our business and we're getting bomb threats by white supremacists. But, the thing is that a lot of these people that call themselves Christian, how can you love God but hate your brother? That's so terrible.
That's right.
So a lot of them think they're doing the Christian thing, but that's not of God. So therefore, I think that the schools, the colleges have to have a protocol of what is going to make them safe. So hopefully, when parents take their kids to school, they start looking at the flight plan. What is the way that they're going to keep our kids safe and from harm? And not only just teach the teachers, but they need to bring them both together. The teacher, the professors, teachers, and the student together so that they could work together for that flight plan, because that's life.
Right. Absolutely. It's amazing. I have so many friends that have dropped their kids off for college, either for year one or year two. And this is not what they expected when they dropped their kids off 2-3 weeks ago. Yolanda, what are your views on this?
I just think it's utterly disgusting that these white supremacists keep trying to bait us out to fight. Like, that's all they want to do. They want to fight us straight up. And this is not our fight. This is something that they should be dealing with. And also I really think they're trying to get a rise out of Black people. We've been kind of quiet lately.
Yeah, we've been minding our business, because I know I've been minding my business.
Yeah, we've been drinking our water teas, minding our business, trying to manifest some things in our lives. And here they go again with this bull crap, putting stuff in our lap that does not belong to us. And they're trying to bait us. And now they're trying to mess with our babies in school. Nah, this ain't going to fly. They need to leave our children alone, leave us alone, and fight on their own. Fight their own bullshit. All right.
Okay. I want to stick a pin right there because I want to come back to the rage baiting. But what I'd like to do is get to you, Mary. Mary, tell me a little bit about how you're feeling about this, what's going on with our HBCUs, especially from a legal standpoint.
Thank you for that, Queen. So many things going off in my mind. I just think about, do we know where the threats are coming from? Can they be traced? I know people, are they reporting this to the police? How many threats are being made? At this day and age in 2025, I feel like they can trace these calls, right? And get to the bottom of it. And so I feel like they can get to the bottom of it. We have AI now on our computers, AI on our phone, videos on our phone, everything on our phone. Have they looked into tracing the cause? Are they really trying to solve the issue and get to the bottom of it, and criminalize those people so that, we don't know, are they real threats or are they crank calls?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder if all of this real. Is this kind of like a ploy to pull us out, to get us out and about in the mix of things, because we have been so distant and have learned from the past. We've learned from our ancestors. We've learned from our forefathers. We've learned from our grandparents what to do, what not to do, and how to roll. I mean, even from the 60s, looking at the riots from that, where people had nothing to do with anything, and yet they got pulled in. And to this day, my mother tells me from the 60s, nobody really knows what that riot was about, or any of the riots that took place in Newark, New Jersey. So is it because of that? Because they want to know where we are and why we're not out? That is a key question. But what I want to do is, before we jump into that, ladies, and I want to talk to you, Yolanda, about that rage bait, because you was passionate about that. We're going to go to a video, chat a little bit about that, and then we'll be back.
We are also following this breaking news today. The FBI now investigating threat calls made to several historically black colleges and universities. The FBI is calling the threats a hoax, saying they do not appear to be credible. However, they are taking the threat seriously. Virginia State University canceling afternoon classes and activities out of an abundance of caution. And Hampton University also receiving threats today. The university stopped all non-essential activities today and tomorrow, including sporting events. Alabama State, Southern University, and Bethune-Cookman University among those receiving threats today. Several anonymous threats have been made against HBCUs in recent years.
Interesting, because it makes me wonder why would we think that the threats were non-credible? What makes a threat non-credible? My thing is it's a thing. People can go to jail for terroristic threats. So why is it that they think these threats are non-credible? Yolanda, I'm going to go back to you. Why would they think that these are non-credible threats?
I have no idea. Based on the history of us in this country, those threats are very credible. Okay. And they should be taken seriously. We should be taking them seriously.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't understand why they think that it's not. Anything that involves us, they always downplay it.
Yes.
And they always they also, breadcrumb us. They also they do a lot of things to us when we had tragedies and things of this magnitude. Mm-hmm. So that's why they think the threats are not credible, but they are credible. We should take them seriously, straight up.
And what really gets my attention, I don't have kids in college, but what gets my attention about it is things can happen in a community, but off of a campus. How many students walk around with their HBCU letters on, and they're just out and about doing regular everyday shopping? Something could happen to them for having on their HBCU letters.
Exactly.
Because of that. So it's not just a campus thing. This is really an alert for on campus and off campus. Minister Connie, what do you think about that?
Our students or any person of color could be a threat at any time. So the thing is, any threat is a threat. That's how I take it. I don't take threat lightly. Sometimes people say things that they don't mean and they just blown off smoke. But these things are really relevant. We really need to take it seriously. And I'm glad they canceled classes. I'm glad that they had some kind of protocol in place. But just say if all the students were there in their classes, they should have some kind of flight plan for protecting our students from any kind of harm, because they could be out in the community, like you said, and get hurt or killed. So we really have to take that seriously. And I think that parents need to always talk to their children, but my son came up when in the communities was all those gangs, and they was initiating young boys to come and hang out with them and do all these kind of things. So that was a rough time when I was raising my son. And what I would do, I would pray over him all the time. I would just pray, and I still do. But I would pray over my son, and I would just like, okay, when you go to hang out, let your friends come know what's going on. So I wanted to know what kind of character he was hanging around with, but it was really bad at that time. So as a parent and having fear in your heart, you just got to trust God with your child.
Yeah. When we sit back and we think, and I really want to do a little deep dive into this, when we start thinking about extremist networks, it's amazing how extremist networks, how they can come to the surface and we still not know who they are, but our Black leaders are targeted, executed, assassinated, and gotten rid of, and it takes us forever to rebuild. Why is that? Marye, can you tell us why you think that is? Extremist networks can thrive and flourish and have torches handed off, but our Black leaders, when we lose one, it takes a full 2 to 3 generations to come back around.
This is a heavy topic, guys, and listening to you queens talk, all these thoughts are going through my head. So I'm going to ask you to humbly, can you repeat that question?
Yes. With the extremist net, there's so many extremist networks, they're underground, they're hidden, and then when they come to surface, boom, they bomb out, they trash out, they crash out. But with Black folks, when we had our leaders, things were organized and structured.
You mean that they crash out?
Well, look at Charlie Kirk. This is extremist. They all come out, and they have their say so. But when Black folks do it, our leaders, we can't recreate our leadership anymore. We can't create our Black leaders in our Black community anymore. But the extremists on the other side, they seem to keep flourishing and can pass down a torch. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think we do recreate our leaders. I think that we are thriving. I think that our leader, forgive me, y'all, I'm just an optimist. So I'm going to always say, speak the way that I want to see things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I just feel like our leaders are being born. I think, I'm on the live with a few leaders right now. And so I can't, if it weren't for Dr. Boyce, well, then none of us be here. So I do think our leaders are rising in power. I just think that we could have more unity in our community. We could have more, become more of a united front, maybe, so that you wouldn't have that perspective. But I rebuke that.
Yes, Yolanda. I see you, Yolanda. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason why is because their leaders, okay, are the cops, the judges, the lawyers, and everything else. This is an institutionalized thing. They are part of the American fabric, the American government. They are part of the American system. This is why they can do things and keep rising, quick. Our leaders, remember, they also have the media. So
you know what? I want you to hold that, Yolanda, because we have commercial break to go through, and I want you all to hear her. I don't want you to lose anything that she has to say. Stay right here. We have a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com.
That's right. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com. We have all the resources and tools that you need to grow and know. All right, Yolanda, I want to pick right back up with you because you're passionate about this, and what you're stating is actual facts. But why do you feel? Do you feel? Because this is how I feel, that our capabilities of developing leaders, we don't have the ability to water them and keep them safe. Do you feel that's a key thing too? Because I know with the extremists, they get to grow and they get to flourish, and then they have all this passion and power, and they come out of nowhere. If you think about it, they just get dropped in front of us. But with our leaders, they're kind of like in the limelight. We watch them grow, we watch them flourish, and then they're taken away somehow, some way.
Yes.
Get your
So let me tell you, their leaders can go into a black church, shoot us up, and walk out and get Burger King afterwards. Okay, that's what their leaders can do. With us, we cannot do that. We don't have that privilege. And on top of that, we don't have the privilege of media. That's my point that I wanted to bring out. We don't have the privilege of media the way they do. All right. So the media sheds a light on us. It's always negative. All right. They only show us reacting and not being proactive. Why did we react to a certain thing? That's all they show. All right. So when you have that amount of power in this country, you will always be protected. You will always have the resources to keep rising and rising and rising again as these people are. That's why they're protected. All right. Straight up, true and through. And let me tell you, I went up against these people before. When I did the Bianca White experiment, when I changed my race into a white woman, these Ku Klux Klan members got a hold of me. They doxed me. They put my information out there with me and my son. I was so afraid because I'm thinking they are going to come to my house and start some mess. All right. So I had to go to the FBI and everything. You know, the FBI did not protect me at all. They didn't care. They didn't care. Wow. So you see how they are protected by this government. And that's just, when we come to that realization, we will move differently.
I'd like to, that sounds like a social experiment. Can you give us a little insight on how you did this social experiment and about how long it lasted?
Yeah. So I couldn't find a job as a Black woman. And I remember at the time, monster.com had this diversity questionnaire on their platform. And you had to check off if you're Black, white, whatever. So I changed my resume to a white sounding name called Bianca White. I put it on Monster. It had the same qualifications that Yolanda did, me, the Black version. And I put it out there and I checked off that I was white, and I got all these job offers. I only did the experiment for 9, maybe 11 days. I did the experiment for, but I got all these job offers as a white woman. Okay. My resume, I kept it up there too. She received hardly any callbacks, but Bianca White, these people were trying to fly me out to different states to have an interview with me because they thought I was a white woman with those qualifications.
And from doing this for 9 to 11 days, it created all of that.
Yes, it was. And so what happened was, of course, I got some attention for it. And I did a little bit of rounds on CBS, NBC, all these Fox News. I went everywhere talking about my experiment. And of course, these white supremacist groups, they were angry at me. And so they started doing some stuff on the back end and on the deep web. Now, a concerned citizen of theirs, who was also a white supremacist, they were scared for me. So they went into my inbox on Facebook and they said, can you please read this? Please do not tell anyone I sent this to you. But these people are after you. I said, what? Like me? All I did was tell my experiment. That's it.
Yeah. You have to be really careful. What we think is something minor could be
very major to them. See, the thing is, they don't want to be exposed. That's the thing. I exposed to them that there is racism still in a corporate sector. They were angry that my Black ass did that. Yeah. This is why I have no love for these people.
You cracked the code, girl. You cracked the code. All right, next, I want to go to this next video that we have on Charlie Kirk. So let's get that set up and let's watch and see and get some background on Charlie and what he has to say.
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened?
A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder.
Yeah, DEI stands for
one of the biggest.
Didn't earn it, just so we're clear.
Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that Black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s. The disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country. We at least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing.
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing. Starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. That's not a war on drugs, that's a culture problem. Why are so many blacks committing murders outside of their population? So we've spent $20 trillion on uplifting black communities, $20 trillion, and black Americans are poor. Food stamps, subsidized housing, Medicaid, public schooling, subsidized college. We're talking about $20 trillion that has been spent on the Great Society, and yet black America is poorer, more murderous, more dangerous.
Part of equity.
You see this bullshit there? You see that?
Wait, Yolanda, wait.
Okay, calm down. Okay, I'll calm. I'm calm.
5, 4, 3, 2, and breathe. Okay, Charlie Kirk, and I've seen him debate before. I've seen a few of his debates, but I'd never seen any of his debates on race. So a lot of some of the footage that's coming up is new to me, and all I can say is, wow. I love a good debate. I love to see people articulate themselves in conversation. I think it is healthy for us to have different views and be able to have conversation, because having conversation is an art. However, when you start to belittle and berate another race of people, another class of people, then we start to have a problem, because now what are you trying to do? What kind of platform are you building? And it sounds here like, he had an agenda, he had an assignment, and clearly he did not like black folks, for whatever his reason is. And Marye, I want to bring this over to you. Is like, had you heard any of this before? Have you heard Charlie Kirk make any of these statements before? And what has been your experience in hearing him and seeing him in the public eye?
Well, I didn't see him until his infamous passing that we all, shocked the world. And you think about how desensitized we are and how it was a lot to watch. It really was. But I can't even get upset with listening to him. My vitriol doesn't, my hair don't stand up on the back of my neck. And it's only one reason, because he died by the power of his own tongue. And so and because that poor man lost his own life and took it, and all I got to say is that's why I sit back and let God fight my battles. Now, I saw somebody comment saying you can't pray the bullets away, but I mean, you kind of can. You can focus on getting your energy in a certain way, in a certain space. And so it's just hard for me to take on the anger. I can't get upset because that was white on white crime. That really ain't got nothing to do with me, other than the fact that my poor little eyes had to watch that, because it was going viral. Somebody sent it to me, but he got what he saw coming. And I feel like that's what Black people need to really understand and remember, that the last will be first and the first will be last. And so while there's all these, you can get caught up into this is what the politics are and the power, but we have so much power. You have so much power in your world to control your own reality. And so when the focus is on that, that's how you kind of take your power back. And so he got what he deserved, and that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Minister Connie, I see you nodding your head, and you were having your private church service over there. Let me get
my goodness. I'm in agreement with Marye. I tell you what, the Bible says that the net that you set for someone, you're going to be caught in it. The noose that you hung, you're going to be hung in it. So therefore, that's just what happened to him. And you know what? I don't get upset with people rhetoric about Black people, because I know where I stand. My power comes from above, So I am not poor. Actually, I am rich. So the things that he is saying is not true. So that's not me. And my circle is not about them either. So who is he talking about? The Bible says the poor is going to be with us always. And there's white poor people, there's black poor people, there's Hispanic poor people. So you can't put that in a category because the Bible says that they're going to always be with us. We're never going to get rid of poor people. So therefore, what he said, but I'm not going to say good for him, but you got to watch what you do and you say, because what you say might come right back onto you.
Yes, words are spells. And sometimes a soldier falls on his own sword.
Yes.
All right. But this is the problem with those words. He's around a bunch of young people, and a lot of young people today don't read or do research. All right. They will sit in front of this social media and allow it to dictate them what they deem as factual. All right. So if you have a person, or a young person, or even an older person that does not read or do research, they will take his message as a fact because they feel that because he has white skin that it must be true. And this is a problem with our country. They think anything a white man says is true. And that's something that we have to get away from. So that's why I got mad, because he is just spitting all these facts when indeed it is showing that more Black fathers are now part of their children's lives. All right. It shows that more white people commit the crimes in this country. It shows that more white people are on welfare. We know this shit here. We know this. But yet he says it's us. And those college students all because they don't know the facts. They're not doing the research on their own. They just allowing this white man to sit in front of them and to dictate what he thinks is factual. That's dangerous.
And to come back and to bring all that together, it is a fact that because of slavery and the murder and the hanging of Black men, single mother homes, single parent homes were created because of that, because men were taken out of the home by murder, men were taken out of the home by hanging, and leaving a woman to raise her children and figure out her children, and then to be taken advantage of by massa in the house. Okay. All right, y'all, it's getting heavy, it's getting hot, but let's take a commercial break, and when we get back, we'll discuss more with the queens.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you, we are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us, so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
This is why we say white supremacy is the issue. Do you see the person, the suspect, the man they are looking for, the man at large? Do you see this man, right? He's obviously white. He's wearing a Patriot shirt. They say that he may be a college student, a white man. I want y'all to stick with me. Now, following Charlie Kirk's unaliving, 3 HBCUs, Alabama State, Hampton University, and Virginia State University have received threats. Threats for what? The suspect in Charlie Kirk's unaliving is going to be a white man. So why are Black people being threatened? Because it's all about white supremacy, and no matter what, white people who are racist in this country, who follow Charlie Kirk's rhetoric, believe that black people should not exist. And so instead of turning on their own people, because this was white on white crime, they are directing their anger towards black people that ain't got shit to do with the situation. I didn't even see a black person in the goddamn crowd. It was Utah. Ain't that like Mormon country or some shit? But no, black people once again, black students once again have to keep their head on the swivel because white, racist, Christian, nationalists, KKK members, Nazis are all trying to target them for what? We didn't have shit to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. It was white on white crime. So why are we being subject to hate? Because no matter what, we will always be the thing white people turn to when it comes to aggression because they can't take it out on their own people. And that is why Charlie Kirk was detrimental to people that look like me. And his rhetoric was detrimental to people who look like me because we're never safe around people who talk like that.
I love that content creator. I watch her all the time on TikTok, and she is absolutely 100% correct because guess what, y'all? The phone was ringing from inside the house. That had nothing to do with us at all. And I think as a society, we are desensitized to death. And that is why we are seeing so much take play in front of our eyes, in our everyday walk, on TV, in our phones, in our computers, on our tablets. We're just so desensitized to it. It's like, oh, that happened. And we just keep moving on. But I want to talk to you a little bit more, Marye, about this, and with because they arrested 2 people, I think it was, and that those 2 weren't, they let them go. And I think I heard this morning that they've arrested a 3rd person, and they think that's him. And they were in Utah. And I think we can actually honestly all agree there might be 5 black folks in Utah. Might be 5. Might be 4.5, but it might be 5 people in Utah. And I just don't see anybody. I mean, how, a black man is going to sneak through the gates of Utah and get up on a roof and shoot 200 meters away and then get out scot-free? Absolutely not. This was someone that was in his backyard, in his back pocket, and honestly, someone that he may have trained with his own words and speech of hate. What do you think about that, Marye?
It's a lot. I think what I think about all of it, the saddest part is that the vitriol and the anger has turned to HBCUs and black people when it was clearly a white on white crime and that had nothing to do with us. And so that's what is heartbreaking to me. And I honestly don't know where to put that. Because they're clearly they want to talk about black on black crime and but this has nothing to do with us, and yet and still now you want to and maybe it's his people who pledge allegiance to him who want to carry on maybe his work and his hate, so to speak. Maybe that's what it is, right? Not so much as a retaliation, but maybe them acting out in his honor, I guess. I don't know. When you try to make it make sense, but when you try to reason with a devil, you'll always come up empty, because none of it makes sense. And so, I can't make sense of that. The only way that I know how to make sense of it is that the last will be first and the first will be last. I mean, you come back to that. You come back to that you can't escape karma. That the closer, Mother Earth goes through these cycles, and the closer she gets to, I would say this, there's beings that thrive in the daylight and beings that thrive in the nighttime.
Yes.
Right. And so now that the sun is coming out, the people who hair grow towards the sun will rise in power. And so there's nothing you can do about that. That means that karma will speed up. That means that you have to be good in order to thrive in the daylight. Everything will be seen. You can't move in the shadows and what made sense in the yesteryear, right? So I just, it's just one of those situations where, we say as a black person, now we have to keep our head on a swivel even more. But when did we ever get our head off the swivel?
Correct.
Correct. We always been looking over our shoulder and calling on our ancestors to protect us as we move through the world. So
Yeah.
What is going to change about that? Nothing.
And the thing is nothing has changed for us for hundreds of years. And my question to you, Yolanda, is how do we get that to change? How do we get things?
You want my
I want
social
it.
media answer? Or you want my sister girl, we sitting at my coffee table answer?
Well, listen, all of our cousins are in the comments, you know, so it's just family here. All the cousins. I want to see in the comments, cousins. Do you what do you want from Yolanda? What do you want from Yolanda? Let's hear it. Come on, let's hear it.
Change.
Truth.
Okay. This is going to hurt us because just like that Charlie guy Kirk guy who passed away said there's going to be bloodshed and other stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen in order for us to get change. Power does not exchange from one hand to the next peacefully. You think these people are going to just give up power or relinquish their privileges easy to us just so that we can live freely when we have been their whipping boy for hundreds of years? That's not going to happen. All right. And no matter how peaceful and docile we go in this land and we become lawyers ourselves and doctors ourselves and judges ourselves, they ultimately still hold the power. All right. So you ask me, how does change come about? It's going to be brutal. That's how change is going to come about. And unfortunately, no matter what we say, no matter what we do, it's going to be brutal. We have to fight back. And let me tell you something. God condone wars. All right? God condone wars. All right? And we're his people. And maybe he's telling us to fight back. We need to fight back.
You say that, and it makes me, as I'm sitting here thinking that as you look at what's happening day to day, we are living in biblical times, but history is also repeating itself. So we're looking at a lot of what took place in the 60s that are kind of resurfacing and repeating themselves.
And they're doing it purposely.
It's
almost as if they want history to repeat itself. The difference is these children did not go out in the streets and march and go crazy as we did back in the day. These children are sitting back like, our ancestors did that before and look where it got them. All right. They're not fighting back that way. So how we change things, we really can't change things unless white kids and their people change it. Because that's their shit that they got to deal with. They got to dismantle racism. That's not for us to change. That's for their ass to change. They need to do it. We're tired. We're tired of all this shit with them. We're tired of being the peacemakers with these people. When they keep hitting us, they need to change. That's on them. Let's roll that ball right up in their court so that they can make the change. But you know what, ladies? They ain't going to make the change because they do not want to give up power. This is about power.
You know, I saw a comment that was just up. It said, oh my gosh, he said the black people with money. Oh, what was that comment that was just
bought and sold?
Bought and sold.
The ones that have money that's in the media, not the ones like you, Minister Connie.
I do a lot, believe me.
All right. The ones in the media are bought and sold. This is why they are not fighting the way our remember our celebrities of yesteryear used to fight back. All right.
My goodness.
They used to always march with us. They were there. They even lost a lot. I remember Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee got blacklisted because they were so heavily involved in the civil rights era. All right. But you see how Spike Lee got them out of that shit in the 80s by putting them in his movies, and he brought them back to life. But anyway, we don't have that anymore. The celebrities are bought and sold, and I bet you in their contract, they are told to be quiet and do not fight in order for them to have this money and fame.
All right. Well, Yolanda is on fire, y'all. I got where I need a fan.
Fan her down.
All right, y'all. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back. And when we come back, more energy, more spice. Come on.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
Well, welcome back. I think Yolanda, you good, girl?
Yeah, I'm good.
We were doing breathing exercises while we went on break. Social media is heading up our lives. We don't do anything without our social media in hand. And I just want to, what do you think, Minister Connie? Do you think that social media is feeding a lot of a lot of the emotions and fear mongering and getting reactions out of people and stirring people up when they don't need to be? Because I really feel like, social media is just kind of like feeding it. It's like planting a seed and then boom, it's spread out throughout the world, not just the country, but the world.
The world, yes. Social media have a lot of power. That's where the power is at. It's in the social media of what you're saying. So therefore, yes, it does have a lot, and a lot of stuff is lies. So if you don't, research and find out if it's true or not, you will be in the dark. So I don't listen to everything. The Bible says the word 2 or 3, that's where your witness come in, because not only one person, but a lot of people just jump on board. But I want to say something about oppression. Yes. Oppression been around forever, and so therefore, but the Lord always bring his people out of oppression. So therefore, we could be oppressed by our own people. We could be oppressed by financial. We could be oppressed by a lot of things. It all depends on how you take and look at oppression. So therefore, I believe that, yes, they try to put oppression on us, but don't we always overcome? Don't we come above that? Because we know we are a praying people. I'm sorry, Black people are praying people. We got it from our ancestors. So therefore, the Bible says that if we will call on his name, humble ourselves and call on his name, that he will heal our land. Remember when COVID hit and people was dying, millions of people was dying
daily.
And you would see people up on rooftops and you would see people praying that this thing will leave. That was oppression right there. We were praying and we were seeking God. And guess what? It left.
I was going to say, it's so unfortunate that the only time we can get together and pray together and seek heaven is when there is a pandemic or when there's a famine in the land or when it's something that affects everyone. But what I don't think, Black, white, pink, green,
everybody.
We all got to live here. So one person leaving this earth the way that young man was murdered, let's just be honest, that does affect us all. Even though there may not have been one Black face in there, now the HBCUs are being targeted for no reason at all. Right. So everything affects everybody because we are here together.
Right, exactly. So therefore, oppression could be like around us all the time. And the thing is that I know my power comes from prayer. You know what? I walk in power, and I know I do. So, we always saying power, but the Lord says he will give us power. He will give us the power we need to live every day. And that's what we need. We need to be in tune to the Holy Spirit. We need to be in tune to God, and we need to have him to guide us, because he says that the Holy Spirit gives us the unction to know all things. So before the devil even come, he will let you know that he's coming.
That is coming.
And
be prepared,
right?
And be prepared. And one thing that we lack in these days is that we are not a prepared people.
We're not, because we're not a praying people.
We're easily entertained people. That's why.
Right.
We're easily entertained people.
Right.
All we care about is the social media and TV and movies.
Right.
That's football and singing.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got our blinders on, and the devil is always going to attack you when your shield is down. So we got to daily put on our shield and go out, because we're on the battlefield every day.
Every day.
Every
you
human
know
being,
it or not.
yes, every human being is on the battlefield every day, no matter what color you are. You know, my mother said, keep on living. You will experience life, and you will, no matter what color you are. So therefore, I say, you know, we need to get in tune with the Lord.
Yes. Marye, I want to ask you this. What can Black leaders expect from this situation with Mr. Kirk? What can they, with Charlie Kirk, what can Black leaders expect? Can you think that Black leaders are it's going to be tit for tat now? You know, they're going to start going back and forth with our Black leaders being accosted, or something happening on this side of the fence? What do you think?
Well, if anything, I hope that Black leaders are empowered in the sense that when you say I pray, and every word that we speak is a prayer. Every word, every thought that you think is a prayer. You can't cut it on and cut it off. That's the secret. That's the law of attraction. And so I like to think that the one beautiful thing about social media is that the rise of social media, the rise of Instagram, the rise of the internet means that we all have the power within ourselves to be consistent, to show up, to organize, right? We have tools at your fingertip. We have tools at our fingertip to be able to organize, to do and be whatever it is that we want to do and be. And so I will hope that our Black leaders are not feeling like we don't have the resources. You got social media, you can be posting all day, every day. You can be right on this thing, changing lives, right? And building a platform. Just like grassroots, you can grassroots too. You have the tools at your fingertips to grassroots. So there is no excuse. Yes, manifestation. There is no excuse for saying what we don't have and what we can't do, and all of the. I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that because, quite frankly, it doesn't get you anywhere, right? So, how do we be proactive? And so, I think that our leaders will take the prototype and exceed that. Use the resources to exceed that. So that's what I hope to see. I hope to see that everybody is triggered in the good ways to make good trouble. Triggered in the good ways to be a revolutionary and make change in the way that you can with the tools and resources that you have, because it's really easy to sit up and complain about it. It's really easy to sit up and point fingers at who's did what and who's hateful and why are they hateful. We know why, because they're jealous. Melanin is magic, and it gives you magic. And so I'm not going to point at my enemy and wonder why he hates me when I know why he hates me. He hates me because he don't shine quite like I do. He hates me because they not as tall. They can't run and jump. They can't sing. They can't dance. Their soul is not illuminated with the power that we have. And so I trust that our Black leaders are continuing to do the work that they always have been doing. That white on white crime ain't got nothing to do with us, or so that we might focus on our own mission and our own things that we are building in our own community, and the fight continues.
And the fight continues. And with that, we're gonna go to the next video.
Now, have y'all seen this?
This is such bullshit. I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now.
I find it crazy that he says he has never been more pissed in his life. Because me, off the top of my head, I have been pissed multiple times. Just seeing the news and seeing how many kids and how often this happens. How often gun violence happens to kids in school, to our kids in school, and it never, ever gets this type of response. Why don't school shootings get this type of response? Why doesn't school shootings get this type of energy? At the same time this man lost his life, kids at Evergreen High School in Colorado's lives were changed forever. All I'm saying is, where is this energy when kids constantly have to run for their lives when they're at school? And why can't this energy be used to fight for our parents, fight for the kids, and fight for the youth of America, instead of just sending thoughts and prayers?
Wow. And many people did not know, because I wasn't made aware of it, that at the same time that this was happening, there was actually a school shooting that took place in Colorado. So we're distracted. You know, we don't know what's going on right in our own backyards. We're distracted, even though we have a full device in our hands. We're distracted. We're fear mongered, and then we just accept it and swallow it and eat it, and it's the same rhetoric. It's just repeating itself. It's just a cycle every single day, and then we look up and it's a new year, and we just repeat the cycle. How and when, and anybody can jump into this. Yolanda, I think we're going to jump on this one. How do we get off of the treadmill of the rat race? How do we get on the treadmill of the rat race of rhetoric? Because it's even with the last election, I even said, it's a lot of emotional rhetoric. I love facts. Again, facts will change feelings, and your feelings can engage facts. But when you start using emotional rhetoric to make decisions, it makes everything, yet alone everything unstable. What do you think about that, Yolanda?
How do we get off the that treadmill?
Yeah.
Separate or die. Separate or die. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. Separate or die. Because the more that we're in this system with these people, the more we're going to be harmed. So, and I know that's maybe is not the answer a lot of people want to hear, is to separate, because then how do we separate? But I really think at this point we really need to start building our own institutions. I saw somebody was talking about Dr. Umar School and all this other good stuff. Fine, but we really need to start looking out for ourselves, because if we do not, we are going to die up in this piece. We are always we're going to continue to get blamed up in this piece. If we continue on this path with these people, then we need to start enacting laws. We need to be like Asian people, okay? They hit me and put a law up, okay? Protect Black people. We need to really be adamant on putting laws in place to protect us at this point, because this here is ridiculous. We're constantly being scapegoated. It's just ridiculous. We're still going through the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. When do we get off?
When do we get off?
Either separate or die, or if we participate in this place with these people, we put laws in place to protect ourselves. Bottom line.
Because honestly, I'm going to be honest with all of you, and please chime in, just jump in. I think this is just the beginning of so many other things to come. I think this,
I know it is.
The stage was set. The stage was set. I mean, the stage has been set, but this really set the stage. You put the last, big curtain up there with the nice big ribbons on it to pull it back for the biggest performance, and we're going to be left dumbfounded and stooped yet again and wondering, like, what do we do? What do we do?
And let me tell you something, Erica, we shouldn't do what our ancestors did. We should not. We should do things a little bit different. Just a little bit different.
Just a little bit different. Yeah. I mean, you can't make friends with the enemy and then expect them to treat you like one of their own. You just can't do it.
Because the thing about it, it's simple respect and disrespect. Okay. If you go to prison and somebody take your shoes and you don't get your shoes back immediately, they're going to punk you throughout your whole duration while you're there. All right. So at the beginning, you have to show your power. You have to show that you're not afraid of anybody. Let me ask you this. Get your shoes back. This is something that Black people did not do. We never got our shoes back.
Do you think at this point it is that we should leave the country? Do you think that we should leave? It seems like other cultures. I worked on cruise ships for 3 years. So I traveled and I was outside of this country for 3 years, from 2017 to 2020. And when it was a beautiful thing. It was very interesting, and it was a great experience. And I mean, the love that I felt. I was in Australia for 4 months, and I mean, I felt like I was Australian. Do you think the answer is actually getting from beyond this land and getting out of this country?
I just came back from I lived in the Caribbean this summer. Okay, I went to Antigua. Let me tell you, I didn't experience no racism there. Black people was centered there. I saw Black billboards, commercials, Black TV. I was like, oh snap, we up in this piece. But not once did I think of racism. I didn't experience any type of microaggressions from no white woman, no nothing. I was shocked. I was like, this is beautiful. I can wake up every day and just feel like Yolanda. So maybe we should leave the country, but then again, we built this bitch. So maybe, you know, in a way we should stay and fight. So to answer that question, Erica, it's an individual decision. If you want to leave, leave.
Minister Connie, do you think Minister Connie, do you think we should get up out of here?
You know what? I'm not going nowhere, but I do travel the world. So I'm going to go to Africa next month. I'll be gone for 3 weeks, but I do travel and I have been to a lot of places. Actually, I'm going to get a board and put all the places I've been, and you do not experience racism like you do here.
You do not.
They groom them for when you come here or something. That's just emotional saying, you know, that they groom them to come here to hate people of another race. But the thing is, when you're overseas, you don't feel it and you don't see it. So it's a great
non-existent. If for those of you that don't have your passport, you'd be surprised at how many people do not have their passport.
And you know what? You got to remember, most people around the world, they're surrounded by this color.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So therefore, how can you be? You could be standing next to someone that look just like me, but I could be another nationality, another race.
Yeah.
So therefore, you don't never know. That's why there is not all that. You know, in other countries, you don't have racism because everybody is mainly dark.
Yeah.
So therefore, I love being out of the country, but I love where I live too.
I love where I live too, but you know what? Those 3 years that I traveled the world, baby, when I tell you waking up in a different country and being able to walk down the street every day and see people that look like me, it was the most rewarding thing of my life. You know, I can't believe it's almost been an hour, but before we go, we have some stats, and I want to put those stats up. Let's take a look and see what we have here, because stats are very important. It says here, according to a 2022 study, HBCUs received over 20 targeted threats in the last 5 years. That is insane. FBI reports indicate that radicalized individuals inspired by extremist networks account for a significant portion of school and campus violence in the U.S. Black communities are disproportionately impacted by fear-driven crimes despite having no involvement in perpetrators' motives. And this one right here stood out to me. It's the third one down by Fairy Wares. It says, I can't stand the word empathy. And actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. And that was a statement by Charlie Kirk, who is no longer with us. And Minister Connie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that the Bible does speak of empathy, does it not? And with that, I want your final thoughts, ladies. We're going to start with you, our Wall Street lawyer, Miss Marye. Can you give us your final thoughts on what you think on today's topic?
Well, I think the last thing we were talking about is everybody wanting to leave America. And my final thoughts is Black people or melanated people are indigenous to the entire world, including the United States of America or whatever it was called before. So this is my land. You know, Beyonce did Cowboy Carter, and it's this reclamation of America. So I too am America. I ain't going nowhere because I am at home. It's my final thought.
And where can the people find you?
You can find me online at thewallstreetlawyer.com. You can also find me and my movement where I uplift the Black community at blackwallstreet.com. On social media at The Wall Street Lawyer and Black Wall Street DOT.com on all social media.
All right. Minister Connie, what are your final thoughts to take us out of here today?
My final thoughts is that we should have empathy for all people, you know, no matter what race they are in. You know, my heart breaks when someone of another ethnic group has pain, you know, because we're all human. We're all in this together. But I believe that we should prepare all of our families for whatever is going to come, because we don't know what's going to happen day to day. But you should have a safety plan. You should mind your business. And you should definitely be praying and asking God to lead and guide you. I have a book out called Lord, I Hear You, and it's also a journal with it. It's a very easy read, but it's powerful. You will see the things that God really cares about, the small things that we think is insignificant. He cares about everything. So therefore, you could find me at ConnieSpearman.com.
All right. Thank you, Minister Connie. All right, Yolanda. What are your final thoughts, my dear?
Thoughts, but I will say this. Black people really do need to travel and see the world. Okay. Now, look, I was one of those Black people that I just traveled within the United States. But when I left out of the United States and I saw how beautiful this world really is, it opened my eyes to just God, creation, everything. It even changed my spirit as well, too. You know, I just realized that America is just one big cesspool of racism. And it's sad. Racism and capitalism is what's pulling this country down. So if Black people want to leave and go, and I think they should explore the world and explore other places. I mean, if you want to sit here and stay and fight, and that's what you want to do, then you do that too. You can even do both. But anyway, you guys follow me. I'm across all platforms, Yolanda Spivey, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also, or X, is it? Also, you can reach me at mwhitney.com. I am an insurance broker. We insure everything, life insurance, health insurance. We mostly deal with commercial insurance. We insure businesses. We insure everything. We can insure your pinky toe if you want something to insure. We do everything. So give us a call. Visit me at mwhitney.com. mwhitney.com.
All righty. Thank you, Yolanda. All right, all. I guess it's my turn. My final thoughts. Like I said, I traveled the world for 3 years, and it really opened my eyes. You know, when you look here in these United States and you see all of these school shootings, but yet and still, I went to Papua New Guinea and sat in a classroom with about 25 students. Yes, Papua New Guinea. Sat in a classroom where these students were learning 3 to 5 different languages, math, and everything else, science, history, learning and thriving. And they living in squalor, but these children were learning. And yet we get back here and we have everything that you can ever account for, ask for, but we're shooting each other, we're stabbing each other. And for what? Yeah, it is really time to fall back on our faces. I love the Lord and I know the Lord loves me, but it is really time for us to fall back to our knees and on our faces and cry out to God, because we are in trouble. And, pride cometh before a fall. Is this country being too pride? Are those of us living in this country being too pride because of all of what we have, because everything just comes to us so easy? It's really a question that makes you think. My name is Erica Lewis. I am the author of Faith in Transition, with a website of the same, faithintransition.com, as well as my podcast with the name of the same. I'm just Faith in Transition and everywhere, because change is happening and you got to have faith as things change. I want to thank you all for watching. You are so appreciated. Thank you to everybody over at Fly Nubian Money for letting me host. Hey, Lala girl, I miss you. But thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. Until the next broadcast, be blessed and peace.
Peace. And remember, God moves through us and not for us. So we have to do it too. We have to, we need that action. God moves through us and not for us.
Yes, he did.
Bye-bye.